Summer Sapphires presents How to Make Bowl Koozies. You can find a written version of this tutorial on my website listed in the description below. First things first, let's grab your supplies. You will need to measure and cut 2 squares of cotton fabric measuring 11 inches by 11 inches. You will also need 2 squares of 100% cotton batting fabric, also measuring 11 inches by 11 inches. Be sure your fabric, batting, and thread are all 100% cotton and microwave safe. You will also need 100% cotton thread, a walking foot, tailor's chalk or fabric pens, a quilting ruler, scissors, pins and a pin cushion, sewing clips, which are optional, an iron and an ironing board, and of course a sewing machine. Draw and sew an X from corner to corner. Place fabric, wrong sides touching, on top of the batting squares. Using your quilting ruler and chalk, connect diagonal corners to each other. Repeat for the other 2 diagonal corners. Repeat this step on your other square. Pin along your chalk lines. You will be sewing along these chalk lines, so make sure you pin those lines well to prevent shifting while sewing. Pin your other square as well. Once pinned, sew diagonally from corner to corner. Be sure to backstitch at the start and stop. Repeat with each diagonal line that you drew. Remove pins as you go to prevent a broken needle. Repeat on your other square. Creating your darts. Fold your fabric in half, batting side facing outwards. Measure and mark 3 inches down from the top. Measure and mark 1.5 inches from the fold at the top. Connect the 2 measurements with your ruler, creating a triangle. This will be your dart. Repeat on each side of the squares for both squares. Pin each dart. This will shape your squares into a bowl. Repeat with your other square. Sew the darts, starting at the widest part of the triangle and going towards the point. Backstitch at the start and stop. Normally, on darts, you'd trail off with your stitches and then hand tie knots to prevent puckering. This isn't important to worry about when doing something like a bowl koozie. Here we want durability over appearance. Be sure to sew all 8 darts that you drew. Trim and iron darts open. Remove the excess fabric from the darts. Leave a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Carefully clip the point open. Do this to all 8 darts. Iron the darts' seam allowances open. Connecting the 2 bowls. Turn one bowl right side out. Place this bowl inside of the other bowl. Match the corners and darts with each other. Pin along the edges. Mark a 4-inch opening on one side. Starting on one side of the opening, sew at 1/2 inch seam allowance. Backstitch at the start. Pivot at each corner, making sure the needle is down before lifting the presser foot. Be sure the seam allowances for the darts stay flat while you are sewing. Backstitch at the end. Trimming and turning. Using scissors, carefully cut the corners off, being sure not to clip the stitching. Clip your curves by cutting notches into the sides. Turn the bowls right side out through the opening you left. Use a pen or chopstick to poke the corners out. Carefully tuck in the edges of the opening and iron, making sure it's folded 1/2 inch. Iron all the way around, creating nicely creased edges. Pin or clip the opening closed. I like to also clip the whole bowl to really hold the creases better. Top stitching. Top stitch all the way around at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Pivot at each corner. Be careful with the thickness as it can break your needle. Backstitch at the end and trim off. Congratulations! You've made your first bowl koozie and are ready to sew up a bunch more. You can find more tutorials and classes at summersapphires.com. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe below. Follow me on social media and tag me in your makes. Username @summersapphires.